So I'd like to ask you to share a leadership lesson or two with potential leaders, with upcoming leaders.
I think, first of all, I need to really affirm deep within me that the reason why I'm leading or accepting leadership role, and it is to see what God kingdom is to be fulfilled or happening as much as possible here on earth. That is the basic thing. Why am I a leader? Why shall I develop myself in understanding leadership and how it works and how people function in groups and so on? The purpose is not to get anywhere myself, but really kind of make my heart tick on seeing people come alive in relationship with Jesus, seeing people empowered, seeing people find their potential with Jesus. And leadership to me has developed more as facilitating from my youth, in youth work, in guiding and scouting. I've learned team leadership. So to me that is the basic thing. I, as the head, as a TC, shall know what is my position, what are my rights and my responsibilities, and I shall know and accept that ultimately it's up to me many things in the territory, but not as a burden, but as a last outcome. But my responsibility is to get the team working together, to identify people with their gifts and what they can contribute in the territorial leadership or in the leadership in the core or for the particular group you are responsible. And to me, I've learned along the way to listen, to understand people from their point of view, and gathering facts and information from a variety of people and coming up to a decision to balance what are people's situation and what are the needs and what's the purpose perhaps for this group. And ultimately also my responsibility is really to weigh in very heavily. Are we doing our mission? Are we doing God's kingdom here? And make that make that be the basic foundation for the decision we make forward.
Who has helped you, or how have people helped you to understand that and to develop as a leader?
Well, I think it happens around us all the time. Before I became an officer, I reflected on people, on officers, and kind of thought, would I like to become like that person or like that person? I think that is what perhaps is a bit of who I am, or what I've learned, to look around and reflect on how others perform and what makes them successful in leadership in the Salvation Army in God's kingdom is to see people coming to Christ. If you can create an environment where people come to faith, where you serve each other, where you love each other. And so I've been kind of watching and seeing where this happened. What is the leadership behind making this happen? But I've also seen that people with really special gifts of evangelism or prophecy, they can be very difficult people. So I've also learned to see that it is to respect God's calling in people, and not just looking to make my life comfortable or my leadership convenient. So for working with some people, it takes some more prayer, because I need to get behind the surface, the attitude that perhaps I'm not so comfortable with, and build relationship and find out, is this person building his own kingdom, or is he or she building God's kingdom, and work from that. So I think that is a big part of my learning, reflecting on leaders and groups and people I have, but also reading and learning, go to conferences and share my experience with others, and have open and learning conversation in leadership groups. I try to, small or big teams, or a core leadership team or a territorial leadership team, take them away for half a day, and discuss and share from a topic or from a book we've read, and not just coming together because we have a task, we are going to produce a conference, or we are going to do something, but coming together and sharing, how did God touch your life? What made you come into this covenant with the Lord? And where are you now? And where are we heading? And what responsibility do we have? And what is God saying to us in this time? So summarizing, seeing, listening to people, and going into the Word and see, how did Jesus do leadership? And that has been important to me to see. It wasn't, here is the law, here is my new law, go and do it. But his understanding of what is said and unsaid among people, and working from that, and really expecting the understanding, the wisdom from the Holy Spirit. Because in God's kingdom, it's not always 2 and 2 makes 5, but it is calculating and seeing things in a different way.
So sometimes, just we would typically expect 2 + 2 is 4, and sometimes it can be 5, sometimes it can be 10. It can look different than what we would practically plan ahead, because we don't know.
And I think what comes with Jesus is this: God become alive in a human being, and that is classical theology and a classical basic for evangelism, and it is that this fantastic things that we never can catch or fully describe, the kingdom here on earth, comes alongside on earth. So we do our homework. We learn the basic stuff. We learn how to do leadership. We learn governance. We learn psychology to understand what makes people tick or not tick, and why they behave perhaps in a certain way. But alongside this, we got the Holy Spirit to lead us, to guide us, and sometimes just fill us with His grace, where we accept that we don't know, we don't understand, but there is always an element of God can do a miracle in this situation or with this people. And alongside that expectation, we do the best we can.
We had the opportunity to serve together in Ukraine. Can you share something that's memorable to you about that time? Can you tell a little bit about how long you were there? Provide some background.
Yeah, I was there for 5 years, and coming into such a total different setting, it takes all up to 2 years to really get the hang of how things are working and how people are thinking. But what I reflect on as something that I learned there, and also have taken back to Sweden and now Germany, is how you and I, among others, got together in having various kinds of teaching sessions, getting people together over a day or 2, and empower them to share experiences with each other, and making that attractive, to learn core integrated mission in the core, or to learn administration, or to learn youth work, or whatever. and mixing this learning process with building relationship and fellowship, because along the way you also build trust in each other, and trust is a foundation for daring new things. The young people or the leaders shall know they can trust their leadership, and I as a leader need to know who of these people can I trust with the responsibility. So that is a big lesson, empowering the local people, but make it open, make it clear what are their borders of responsibility, and where does DHQ or THQ, what is our responsibility, so there is no uncertainty of what we expect of each other.